Bruv says, Bruno is a legend. Get off the fence, Fleck. Bruno will retire a legend 100% because there's been a little bit of a discussion.
What was the discussion?
Saying, is Bruno Fernandes a Man United legend? And I said,
You're
no.
a one-man team.
No, I don't think he's a legend.
Hero, maybe?
Higher than that. I would say, like I say, he can. The problem is that he's played in an era which isn't his fault. That's awful.
100%.
So, but his numbers stack up with like the very best.
I hear that.
So like,
But
you can't blame him for not winning
No.
the Premier League in this. You can't blame him for not winning the Champions League in this. Look at Man United. But it's what your personal criteria is. Like if I ask you what your world class take is, it's a different for me to put because of my era of watching United. I just need the big trophies to have been won.
Yeah,
you need to have been in there. It's not his fault you're not in it.
Yeah,
you've carried Bruno Fernandes will go down as someone who carried United in their worst years. Put United on his back and kept them relevant.
He deserves like a.
He's a Man United great to me.
I think he's an excellent player.
Of course he is, but just the same legend status. Can you put him in there with Rio and Gary Neville and Scholes and Beckham and Cristiano Ronaldo and Van Nistelrooy? With what he's done output wise, yes. It just feels uncomfortable for me. I don't know. My bar's high as a United fan.
Listen, this is my personal
it's a bad
opinion.
period.
He's way more talented than David Beckham ever was as a footballer. Way more. That's my personal opinion.
I think Beckham had the work ethic.
Yeah, exactly.
Bruno fucking runs around like a mad lunatic.
Not as much as Beckham.
Nah, Nicky, trust me. Bruno's work ethic is crazy.
I'm
Never
talking
stops
about-
running. Never stops running.
He's a talented player, Bruno. Yeah, but Beckham. Look, he had world class talent, Beckham, but he worked at that world class talent like day after day after day. Geezer was a model professional.
No, he was.
Model professional.
But speaking
he is
to
very talented,
what
yeah.
Fleck said, I've heard a couple of training ground stories about how Bruno put some of them younger men to shame.
Yeah,
when they do
he's
the
been
running and
proper.
all that.
Yeah. Bruno's. Listen, you know my backing of Bruno. I'm annoyed that the whole legend thing has got a couple. Just
better than Beckham.
Beckham's.
What?
You don't rate Beckham, do you?
Beckham's unreal, man.
I think I agree with what
different
Nicky
types of
said.
players.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
think
difficult
he's
to
a
compare those.
I
types of players.
associate him with the work ethic, and listen, work ethic is an attribute that I'm very. I advocate for that. You know what I mean? I think that's a talent in itself to have the work ethic because a lot of players, to be quite honest, don't. And so Beckham was a very good player. His work ethic was excellent. Obviously, you know what I mean, the personality and all that. But if in terms of a footballer, technical skill, to me, I think
I'll tell you
Beckham's
why.
unbelievable.
I'll tell you why I think Beckham was a better player. Yeah. Beckham, to be as good as he was for as long as he was, he stopped finish 37?
He was at AC Milan and LA Galaxy.
With all of that media attention around him,
Yeah.
you've got to think he was the most famous man on the planet.
The most scrutinised
The
footballer
most
there was.
scrutinised footballer there was, the most watched footballer there was. Everything he'd done was in the newspaper, everything, yeah? And he was getting it from his managers, he was getting it from his teammates and all that. We've heard the stories.
Yeah.
And he just carried on. And
Agreed.
It was
Elite
always
mentality.
as good.
And there's this misconception with Beckham. Someone said it there in the chat, which I completely disagree with, and it's the most lazy analysis that all he could do was cross. All he did was cross and good at free kicks. Nah, brother. Nah. Beckham was a proper footballer in every aspect. Proper footballer. But I don't even know how we got there. Oh, yeah, because of that. This is international. Beckham was elite and similar to Pirlo on the pitch. Narbro says, how many seasons and what would the numbers have to be for Bruno to be considered a legend in the Sir Alex era? More impressive now. I don't get it. Yeah, listen, we're not going to go back to that too much, but I also agree that Bruno could have played in some of them teams. When people say,
I think what lets Bruno down is that he's not the most likable. Even Man United fans will tell
he's
you
the
that.
most overhated player. I don't get it. But
he's got a certain
just because he does
body
this,
language.
He
And
does
he's
that.
always moaning.
Roy Keane went after people all the time doing this.
No, but I'm just making a point that can put people up.
Yeah,
Same
it does.
you said about Beckham,
Yeah.
all round nice guy, everybody loved him.
No, but
it's
it
the
didn't.
same thing. Well, okay.
I think
but you know what I'm saying, though, right?
I think it's volume, but there isn't enough tangible things to take away from these statistics. So yes, he's got a high volume of statistics, but what do these statistics mean? Is there big finals? Like you talk about Manchester United winning the treble, right, against Bayern Munich. You talk about Manchester United winning the Champions League against Chelsea. You talk about Manchester United doing 3 in a row under Sir Alex. Like,
But he couldn't be part of those
He couldn't be,
conversations.
and it's not his fault that he's not,
Yeah.
because it's just
Exactly.
bad timing.
Just
When we
bad
talk about
timing.
legendary status, for me, at a club of the size of Manchester United, you've got to have your fingerprints in those historical moments. If you're not, it's unfortunate.
unlucky, yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're talking about Manchester United. You can't just be dashing
It's
out
not- it's not-
legendary
it's
status.
It's not like
to
a
any
Matt
man.
Letizia
Like,
where you go,
you
he's
know
a
what I mean?
Southampton legend.
Yeah.
What a player. Stayed there his whole career. Unbelievable striker. He's a legend. But that's in the context of Southampton.
Yeah.
Shearer
This is Man
is a
United.
legendary. Kane is a legend for Spurs. Doing this damn thing. But they're all-time goal scorer. What a striker. So it has to be in. That's what I'm saying about my bar as a United fan. It's different at this club.
We should
Different.
also take into account as well. The word legend is very subjective. For
Yeah, of
everyone.
course. It means 100%. Some people's legends are. That's the player I fell in love with while I started watching football. So he's a legend to me.
Yeah,
Do you know
exactly.
what I mean? It's just how it goes.
Some guy mentioned the word. I mean, legends are legends that live on. Oh, shit. Live on, right?
Yeah.
Some guy mentioned a Man United legend to me. He said, I didn't even never heard of it. I mean, who's that?
it? Do you remember who
How
else?
can he be a legend if I'm like, other people never heard of him?
But was that just you just not knowing though, or
It was me just not knowing, but a legend.
Yeah.
I
You
know what
know
you're
who
trying
Billy
to say,
Bonds
yeah.
are.
The actual
Yeah.
definition
You know
of the word
who
was-
Bobby
yeah.
Moore is. That's
Yeah.
the definition of the word.
Definition of the
He said
word.
some geezer. It was like that's some
I wouldn't
goalkeeper.
know who it was.
Bruno
Goalkeeper. Van der
Fernandes
Sar?
will not live on, I'm afraid.